Let's bring in Democratic Governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro. He's a member of the Biden-Harris campaign's National Advisory Board. And I thank you so much for coming on this morning. And I think my first question might, by mistake, wade into the political, but I am talking about the D-Day commemoration and how moving it was, and would like to hear your thoughts on President Biden's speech. At the same time, it seemed more emotional, if possible, than ever, these commemorations, looking into the eyes of the soldiers who survived, sitting on the stage, being saluted by the president and the French president. And I think I'll explain my feelings. The reaction to this moment is a little bit in response to what's happening at this time in our history and a sense of slipping. Your thoughts?
Yeah, Mika, thank you. And look, it was a solemn reminder of our responsibility to defend freedom and democracy. The president, in what I thought were just outstanding words and poignant words, not only reminded us of that history of ordinary Americans doing extraordinary things, but he connected the dots between the bravery of 80 years ago on those beaches and the responsibility that falls to each of us today to continue to perfect our union, to defend democracy, to protect our freedom. He made clear what the choices are, not just in an election, but in our everyday lives, to stand up and recognize our own unique responsibilities. Very few Americans will be able to ever be in a position to have to summon the courage as those brave American soldiers and sailors and airmen, Marines and others had to do on those beaches. But each of us needs to be called upon every day to do our part. And in many ways, Mika, I thought the president connecting the dots with today is also a reminder of what's at stake in this election and something we all have to think really clearly about. Yes, there are two names on the ballot, President Biden and Donald Trump. But in many ways, this election isn't just about them. It's about all of us. And whether we're still willing to fight for democracy and freedom, whether we still value honor and decency and want to protect our institutions, whether or not we're going to continue to summon the courage every single day in our lives to advance the cause that was started right here in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, nearly 250 years ago. Work that is ongoing and work that falls to us. And so there are markers every day in our lives where we have to do this work to defend democracy and freedom. And one of those important markers coming up, of course, is the presidential election. Joe Biden represents honor and decency and freedom. Joe Biden is the best hope we have to continuing our democracy. You know, throughout American history, and far be it from me to talk history following Doris Kearns Goodwin, but I'll do my best here. If you look at the arc of our history, we're a nation that's always made progress, Mika. We've taken a couple steps forward, and at times we've been knocked back a step, but we've always advanced. And I fear that in this election, if we fail to recognize the high stakes of this election, that it's about freedom and democracy, not just a name on the ballot, if we go in the wrong direction, if Donald Trump is given the keys to the White House again, it won't be one step back. It'll be many steps back, and we'll all be worse off. Less freedom, less decency, and a real risk to our democracy.
Governor, the president makes clear that one of the threats to democracy would be challenges to the rule of law. We are just about a week's time since former President Trump was convicted, found guilty in a Manhattan courtroom. You're a former attorney general. I want to get your reaction to the verdict, but more than that, what we have heard since, your take on what we've heard from Donald Trump and his fellow Republicans attacking the justice system itself.
Look, I'm no stranger to Donald Trump attacking the justice system, attacking me, attacking our courts in Pennsylvania. Remember, I was the attorney general back in 2020 when Donald Trump attacked our very foundational system of our democracy, our election system, our voting system. Donald Trump and his allies sued us 43 times. And by the way, I went 43-0. He went 0-43. And we had a free and fair, safe and secure election. And the will of the people here in Pennsylvania was protected. He has shown no regard for our institutions. He only cares about himself and his standing. And remember, while he wants to attack the judge and he wants to attack the prosecutors, at the end of the day, it was a dozen ordinary Americans who made that judgment that Donald Trump is now a convicted felon 43 different times. They weighed the evidence, they studied the facts and the law, and his fellow Americans rendered that judgment. That is how our system works. Ultimately, it'll be up to the people of Pennsylvania and the American people to make a determination as to how they think that's going to impact his ability to possibly do the job as president. I think it shows his level of corruption. It shows his level of selfishness, and it shows that time after time after time, he puts himself before the country.
Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, thank you very much for coming on the show this morning. We appreciate it.